If you're thinking about getting into model railroading or you're already an addict, boy do we have a project for you. In this episode, we're gonna get really dirty, starting right now. Hey, welcome to It's My Railroad, the how-to show for regular people. On this show, we chronicle the riveting, never-changing, exciting adventures of the regular guy model railroader, yours truly. Hey, we have a lot of fun on this channel, learning a ton about model railroading, hanging out with the community. It's really a good time. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. All right, just before we really get rolling, we have a special announcement. We are pleased to announce the global release of the It's My Railroad Facebook page. That's right, we now have a Facebook page for It's My Railroad. How exciting is that? Hey, on that page, some commentaries by me, some miscellaneous rail fanning videos, and of course links to the stuff we do here on YouTube. So I would love to see you over there joining in the discussion. Just go to Facebook and type in the little search bar, It's My Railroad, boom, there you are. All right, rail fans, let's get into this. First of all, thank you so much for your comments and encouragement relative to painting all those mountains in last week's episode. Now, if you missed that episode, you really missed out. So here's what I did. There's a card above my head, link in the description below. Just click on that and it'll take you right there. I think you should watch it now before you finish watching this, so we'll wait. Okay, welcome back. Wasn't that amazing watching those mountains get painted? Now we're gonna start throwing dirt up in there. We're gonna put some ground cover in there. We're gonna put some trees on there. It's really gonna be exciting, but you need to stay through this episode all the way to the end because unfortunately, this is another occasion where things start out really grand and then they kind of fall apart. It's the regular guy curse, I'm afraid. I hope I'm the only one who suffers from it. But rather than telling you all about it now in my 91-degree garage studio, why don't we just head right into the hobby room right now? Today is all about dirt. We are going to paint on some dirt up in this logging camp today and get some scenery going. As you guys know, or most of you know, scenery is like my favorite thing to do when I'm building the model. Running the trains, of course, the very best thing, but I love doing scenery. It just, the transformation that happens kind of in the blink of an eye is really a lot of fun, and it's really exciting for me. Anyway, but we're gonna put dirt up in the logging camp now. To commemorate this momentous occasion, I went to a job site today with a 5-gallon bucket and filled it halfway up with brand new dirt. That's right, we have brand new dirt for you, our studio audience. Got some looks as I was doing that and taking it to my pickup truck, but whatever, I'm a model railroader. So anyway, we are going to paint on, in essence, some dirt today. Let that dry up and then start some other dirtish treatments. But to paint that on, like I said, no big secret. I've got some white glue here that I'll put on straight and I'll brush it on. And then when I'm done with that, I've got this old Starbucks cup right here with a pair of women's nylons on the top. And this is a really old, ragged pair of women's nylons, by the way, because I have a hard time going to the store and buying nylons. Hey, I'd like some pantyhose, please. I get some looks. Anyway, I use this to sift out that dirt to make it this really fine powder. It's like flour by the time you sift it on there. It's really cool. I really like it. It kind of rains down dirt. You'll see other guys doing something very similar to this, but we're going to put a base coat of dirt down on this layout today in anticipation of adding some other components to make it look like sort of a deforested forest in the front and then a forested forest in the back. So whatever, let's quit babbling on, shall we? Let's just jump into putting on some dirt. Okay, so like I said, we're going to sort of paint all this glue on and then drop the dirt on there. But in most things with scenery, I kind of like to start at the top and the back and work my way forward. Now, something I didn't point out earlier, but we're going to have structures and a deck and other features through here. But for now, I'm just going to get dirt all the way up there. So at least it looks like dirt for now. And then as we come back in and put structures, we can just sort of build it right on top of the dirt. I mean, there was dirt there before the whole thing started, right? So let's just go back here. We'll just do this mountain first, like this. And we just get in there and just paint that on. I'm trying to cover every last piece of that hill. Now you can see I already started some of it over here. I got some dirt over here already. I was cheating on you guys, sorry. I'm just gonna get this mounted going here. All right, so I put glue down in a pretty big area here, and I did that kind of on purpose. And that is because when I get ready to sprinkle this dirt, it's gonna go everywhere, and so I want to get as much done as I can. Otherwise, the dirt will come over here. I can't put glue there until it dries a bit, and I can vacuum it all up. Blah blah blah. All right, let's see if I got enough dirt in here to get this done. Again, starting at the back, take my sifted dirt. And just, well, actually it's sifting on the fly here. See, I put that dirt even down right on top of the rails, and the reason I did that is because it's going to leave this dirt residue there even after you vacuum it. I can rub my fingers on there, kind of rub it in. Looks like dirt. Another cool sort of just random benefit we just found right now is back up in here where you can see the dirt hit the top, dropped past parts of the layout there. And for now, I think I'm going to leave that because with the brown paint under there, once this dries, it might give this sort of cool three-dimensional look. You can already kind of see how the striations and stuff in the mountains are still there, even though that'll be covered with some trees and stuff. Maybe we'll just leave that. I think what we're going to do now is just let that set up for a few minutes. I'm going to go through and get the other side real quick. And by the time I'm done with that, maybe we can actually get to putting the second dirt treatment on the layout up here. I just wanted to jump back in here again because there's something I forgot. You probably just saw me stippling along these edges. What I'm trying to do is I want the dirt to kind of come up and join that, but I don't necessarily want the dirt, look like this hard line there, like somebody, painted on dirt or something. So that's what that stippling is about right there. And then actually, once we dump the dirt on there, I'm going to take another brush, a dry brush, and sort of feather that out a little bit, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, while this is drying, there's actually a cool surprise feature that developed that I really like the look of. I'm going to give you a quick close-up of it, and then once this dries, we're going to see if we can actually duplicate this in sort of a permanent way. So looking down in here, see how the dirt's hitting all these ledges and kind of leaving this dirt residue on there? I really like the look of that. And as you look down here along the canyon rock face, see that dirt land in there? All right, so the dirt's kind of dry now. So what I'd like to do is go through and through here, add some of the detail I've been talking about, where right now it looks like all the sleepers are just sitting on top of some styrofoam that's got dirt over it. So we need to make it a little bit more bulbous and hilly, and I think the way I'm going to do that, and again, I've never done this before, so I'm going to make it up here on live TV. So maybe we can take a look at sort of detailing maybe this back here, this in here a little bit. Let's see how it goes before we actually get over to where the turnout is, because that's kind of, as we would agree, a critical path. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some isopropyl alcohol. Here's what I'm going to do anyway. This is the regular guy way. We're just going to start back in here like this. What I'm hoping this will do is it'll go down and find the dirt underneath and soak into the dirt. This way I'm not going to splay the dirt out. I'm just going to get the area around it wet. See, what happens is if I just squirt the alcohol on there, it has a tendency to push the dirt around. But by starting in a area like I did and then just putting the alcohol on top of where the other alcohol already was, then it kind of just spreads without doing that. Let's just concentrate on this little section right in here. So I think what I'm determining I'm going to do for right now is we'll just go through and do a little patch here together, and then I'll just go through and do a bunch of it while you guys just sort of watch. But okay, I kind of got that all soaked down with the alcohol. That's going to let the glue travel. Now here's something interesting I learned about modeling dirt, and that is, watch, we go ahead and set the glue in like this. Remember, this is that 50% solution of white glue, 50% solution of water. Let's go through and put all that on. Some of it's running off. Well, there you go. I guess the mud is full. Okay, see how I got all that glue in there now? Here's what we're going to attempt. While that's wet, if I just go through, I can start sprinkling my dirt back on there again. And watch what happens to it. See how it's getting soaked up by the glue and the alcohol combination. And we'll just sort of eyeball this, building some of that up on here. So kind of what we got there is that dirt built up on those sleepers a little bit, so they don't look like they're just lying there flat. And so some of the dirt stuck to the rails, so some of the dirt stuck to the railroad ties and everything, and that stuff's all getting soaked up there. But so I think what has to happen now is we go through and add some more of this alcohol in the same way we did, starting in here, so that it soaks down into the dirt underneath it, which it's doing, and then just keep putting the alcohol on where it's already wet. We can go through then and put more glue on top of that, and hopefully that'll all soak in real nice, and we have dirt up against our sleepers. The glue's all spilling out like that, tells me that, you know, the glue's coming out and going where it's supposed to go. I'm just hoping that this glue is soaking down into all that dirt real well. Although it seems to be running right on top of the dirt at this juncture. Well, that's just peachy. Although it's having the added effect of making little streams, like where the rain would have washed the dirt away, I guess. Then if we want, we can just come sprinkle even more dirt up in there. Well, since I am relatively unsure about this technique because I've never done it before, I think what ought to happen is just let this glue all dry up, and then I'm gonna actually run a vacuum over it and see what comes up. See how it looks, and if we like this technique, we'll keep going. If we want to change it, then we'll change it. Okay, well, the glue on the dirt has had time to dry, and I think I like the way it turned out. Get sort of the ground level view here. We see that you know, it's got a little cracking here and there. which is what's going to happen if you put too much dirt on at one time. I've seen plaster do that and drywall and stuff like that, but you know, overall you can kind of see the effect I was after, the way it kind of comes up on those sleepers a little bit, kind of ebbs and flows. I think that's a pretty good look. So I'm going to go through then and dump some more dirt down, kind of all up in here and maybe back towards the log loader, leaving it flat where I think we're going to put the structures. I don't need to get crazy there, I don't think. Little horsies I think are going to be in here now. I don't think I want them out here anymore. So anyway, I'm going to go through and do that, and then we'll look at maybe making sure the dirt's attached to the back of the mountains, and we'll start putting some foliage in. Well, I'm not entirely certain this is going to work out so great. There's a lot of streaking. Frankly, the glue alcohol thing doesn't seem to be working very well. It's responding other than how I expected it to. Good news is the gully is a perfect drainage ditch, because I got glue and alcohol just draining out all over the hobby room floor. Those are good times right there. So I guess, folks, we're just going to let all that dry, run a vacuum up onto it, and see what's left when we're done. Okay, I let this all dry up pretty good, and for the most part, pretty happy with it as far as dirt goes. Some obvious concerns though. Right up in here is that glue only made it down certain places, and you get that dark streaking that I'm not particularly thrilled about. Also down here, you can see it's kind of darker and then it turns lighter. And kind of like what mud does when it gets wet and then it dries, we've got these little cracks all over the place. Not exactly problems, but things we kind of need to take care of. So first thing I'm going to do is see what I can do to fix this back here. Quite honestly, something I learned over at Switch Junction that I'm going to try is just introducing some more loose dirt like that. Basically just start running my fingers over it. It's kind of like getting the dirt to scuff it back up again. That helped some. You know, in reality, I didn't really need to put all that glue and alcohol back there. I don't know what I was thinking. It was already stuck down there. Well, that's kind of an improvement there. I kind of like that. But kind of over here we have something similar going on. Might be kind of hard to see, but on the rocks, or the fake rocks, there's some streaking there that I'm not thrilled with, but aren't the end of the world either. I'm gonna see if I can use that same treatment to sort of buff those rocks back out. But I have a slightly different colored dirt than this. It's a little bit, here, you'll see. Pour it on. I'm gonna start rubbing it into the rock. For the most part, it takes that sort of drizzle out. I can't really hardly see it anymore. Looks pretty cool.
Okay, I've had better days as a model railroader. It's just not coming out the way I wanted it to. So the dirt's all, it's like the glue didn't get all the way down in there, and then as we start vacuuming it up, it just pulls that top off. That streaking back there, once I vacuum the dirt off, doesn't look so great either.
Well, back in the studio. I told you, started out kind of fun, ended tragically. But I believe next week it's going to end up really well and you're going to be happy with what you see. So anyway, thanks again for tuning in. If you haven't done already, let's go ahead and subscribe. Then share this video with somebody. It'll be a whole lot of fun. And until next time, my name is Steve Brown, and rail on, my friends.